When you make these films, obviously there's a lot of research and planning that goes into making them, as you said. Do you approach your career with the same foresight and planning? In other words, when you were making Shopping, did you intend to end up where you are now, or is it all just kind of been happenstance and what's fallen in your path?
I don't think I intended to stay in the UK as a filmmaker. I was heavily influenced when I was young by American movies and by mainland European movies, a lot of French movies, a lot of German movies. I wasn't a huge fan of kind of British cinema in the kind of 80s and 90s and the early 2000s. And that's what Shopping was an attempt to kind of, rebel against what was considered British cinema, which was very much a great art house. If you were a young person and you liked to go see movies in a multiplex in the UK, there was nothing for you that was made in the UK that would play in a multiplex, unless you were kind of a sexually repressed British butler in the 1930s, in which case there were probably lots of movies made for you. So I never really thought that I would stay in the UK as a filmmaker. I always saw my future either in Europe or in America. And that's what happened pretty fast, is my first movie played at the Sundance Film Festival, and got a really good reaction from American audiences, and also from American studios who saw what I'd managed to do with $2 million. And they're always on the lookout for the next young director who can kind of make $1 look like $10. So I think I always spiritually saw my home, I guess, more in kind of France or in America rather than in the UK. Because I was such a huge fan of Die Hard and Hunt for Red October and Predator and the Alien movies, and and also there'd been that whole wave of British film directors who'd kind of gone to America and made a mark and been successful. The Scott Brothers, Alan Parker, Adrian Lyne. I always, I guess, although I had to plan these things, I'd always kind of imagined that would be, where I was headed.